To show just how important Georgia has become in the political world, Chuck Todd and his Meet the Press crew spent a few days here in Atlanta this week talking with voters and getting ready for that crucial primary election this spring.
It is a big election year. Our Jeff Hullinger made an appearance on Meet the Press Daily yesterday. So Chuck returned the favor and sat down with Jeff to talk more about Georgia politics.
Joined by our friend Chuck Todd. Chuck, great to have you in Atlanta. I think Meet the Press ought to be from here all the time. You should just move and have it here. It makes sense.
No, you joke, but it's sort of like I'm an experiential learner, as I always say when it comes to politics in particular, and you got to touch and feel. And this is a battleground state that's like suddenly come from not a battleground state to suddenly the most important one. So I think actually I'm going to be here quite a bit because I think we're all trying to learn what has happened in the Atlanta suburbs. How big is this metro area now? Meaning, it's like it feels more like what's happened in Phoenix and in Denver, which basically it just took over the state. Is that what we're watching here? Being here, at least, you get a sense of trying to figure it out.
Georgia, the most important state, do you think, right now in the country?
Well, I think it is right now. I mean, when you look, let's see. I am curious, and it would be a question that I was going to ask you on my show, which is, what I don't know is Georgia permanently a swing state, and we're here, and it's sort of like we have set parameters, or is it like Colorado that's sort of passing through swing and it's going to become a lean blue state? Maybe it's never going to be is it going to be more like Virginia, or are we looking more like a Nevada, Arizona, where we're going to be sitting here in swing state land?
I think you have the racial dynamic in this state that you don't have in Colorado. Colorado is 7%. Denver is 7% African American.
Right.
That's not the case here. I think you always have that sort of dynamic politically here that will be part of what Georgia brings. I really believe that.
No, and the Atlanta area's diversified growth, so many companies wanting to move here because they can get diverse workforce that is becoming self-reinforcing. It's what happened in Virginia. It's what happened in Northern Virginia, and it is what happened in Denver. The same thing. You're right about the African American population, but it is diverse. They have Asian American. So it is wherever becomes a, quote, livable place, you do see these changes happening, and a little bit in Phoenix, for instance, too.
This gubernatorial race already in January that's taking on so many different shades and so many different lilts at this point. David Perdue and Brian Kemp, I mean, nothing separates their issue difference here.
What is day two? I've been asking a lot of people this. What's the second day of David Perdue's campaign? What's the second bullet point? We know why bullet point one you're running.
He's anti-Stacey Abrams. But where is
Brian Kemp pro Stacey Abrams? Right? Like, I don't quite, it is, and look, this has been telegraphed for a year. Governor Kemp has been, not quietly, not subtly, very aggressively making sure you're not going to outflank me on guns, you're not going to outflank me on some of these other issues. He's clearly he's doing everything except appeasing Trump on the one thing he wants to be appeased on. He's drawing a line there. But that's the part with Perdue is I don't know where the opening is.
Chuck Todd, thank you. We appreciate it. It's always good to see you in the flesh as opposed to the old satellite two shots.
Satellite two shots. That's all right. In the era of COVID, we do those well.
Indeed. Come back.
All right.
The fellas united. I could get down with that, like once a month, seeing Chuck and Jeff together.